Good old OBS. Who created the anime graphic
Right
there?
Me. I did
Very
that.
nice.
Thank you.
You must be a professional.
All right. So here we go. We have our stream going. We've got the meeting started. There may be some folks coming in as we go, but this is the Dallas After Effects user group. And the meeting is October. And we're going to go back over here to After Effects and take a look at some stuff. So the thing, let's see, we have a couple different things we can go through. I think we'll start with the Turbulent Displace. And what I'm going to do is just make a standard HD sized comp like so, and call this Turbulent Displace. Also, by the way, my name is Trent Armstrong, and the group for Dallas After Effects user group is at, you can find most of the stuff about us, facebook.com/groups/ let me get my characters up here. So it's up there. Where is it? There it is. And then Dallas AEUG. So that's where you can find out more about us, get involved in the group, and hopefully decide to come to meetings. And what we're going to do now is drop in a solid, new solid, like this. And the color doesn't necessarily matter right now. Just so you guys know, you may have noticed this already, but whatever color you make your solid, After Effects will try and name your solid for you. Just kind of differentiate what you're creating. I tend to not create very many solids and just reuse the ones I have just to keep my compositions fairly lightweight, keep them from being confusing. But that's a little aside. So I'm going to come in here and do a gradient ramp. I'm going to swap the colors and go for radial here. This, and just drop that in the center of the frame. And take this guy off to the side here. And the next thing is to go distort, Turbulent Displace. So you could also, if you want, come over to effects and presets here, and type in Turbulent Displace, and if your layer's selected, all you have to do is double click and it'll apply it. So you know, maybe it's not the most interesting thing to start with. You can do some noisy kind of stuff with it, like that. And it is, the reason you see the noise is because it's displacing the gradient that it's sitting on top of. So yeah, kind of interesting here. A little maybe plasticky kind of feel to it. You can change complexity like that, and then change your anti-aliasing. But what I'm going to do is take this complexity, actually, let's just reset like that. Take this complexity and crank it all the way up. If I could go to 11, I would, but I'll just take it to 10 right now. And so that's kind of interesting here. If we zoom in, we'll go full res. Just hold spacebar to kind of move around in the frame here. You can see that it kind of gets a little cloudy, interestingly cloudy. I'm going to do Option and question mark to fill the frame here. And then I will duplicate this Turbulent Displace. So Turbulent Displace on top of Turbulent Displace. I'll do Shift Command or Shift Control H to hide my bounding boxes. And you can see here that it starts to look like even 3D or multi-layer cloud. So I hit period, which has the greater than symbol, and comma has the less than symbol. Those zoom in and out. And it looks pretty cool there, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Otherwise, it kind of sounds like I'm in here just talking to myself. So that is really cool looking. Can do maybe another one of those on there. Get even more kind of trippy. And we can change by holding Option. I'll do Option and click on my color space over here and change my color space to 16-bit. And get kind of even more little details in there. You can see those. So I think maybe I'll drop that last one so it's still a little smaller. Hey, Morris!
Bearing gifts.
Man, Morris comes in with Halloween candy.
I do, man. This guy.
That is awesome, dude.
Let's see. I had a thing where it speaks, you know.
You got a talking candy bowl?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it'll drive you crazy.
So for those of you that are not at the meeting and watching it online, you're missing out on Halloween festivities that happen at our meetings.
We're eating all the candies.
I can hear this.
Everybody dig in if you want.
How about that?
That's awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Morris.
The best.
That's great, dude.
Sorry about traffic.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just glad you're here.
I know, I'm excited about it.
So what we've done so far is just put a gradient ramp on a solid, add a turbulent displace, and crank up the complexity all the way to 10. Okay, and that gives us an interesting kind of cloudy-ish. I don't even know exactly what to call it. Man, we'll see if I can open
It does
this.
look like smoke. I think.
Yeah.
Joker.
Kind of like smoke.
It's got like a little on the side, a little tiny slit.
Oh, I see the slit.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Reese's Pieces.
What's the... Well, that's not self-animating, is it?
It's not self-animating, but if I come over here and take this center point from the gradient ramp,
Yeah.
I can move this.
Dang, that looks cool.
I like where you're going.
I got some negatives.
Yeah, so
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
there's that.
Yeah.
You can take the ramp over still more so that the hot spot always kind of stays in the center and doesn't go all the way to black there. But kind of what I want to do is have a little bit of black on there for this. Thank you for the candy, Morse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that pizza guy was just one of the designers or something like that.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I thought he was coming in here to feast for himself.
No, he's a developer for
Okay.
our company. Okay, so we have this turbulent displace. What I'm going to do is, I'll show you this first. I can go color correction, colorama. An interesting look there.
Oh.
Tie-dye.
Go like with here. And you can see that if I change the input, the phase shift on the input, it's
I don't know why, but this is so cool.
you can
It's like hidden
so
massive
yeah, so all this is doing is wrapping. You can see it's the wrap mode around this wheel, and the wheel just says up here. There's white and black points like this. Let's see if we can get it back to there. Okay, so this is kind of normal. And if we do the phase shift, you can see that there's a hard line basically here. Because that's where the white and black wrap around on this circle. But if I take one of those and send it to the opposite side, then the edge between white and black basically carries over from through this non-stop, basically. So if I just wrap like that, then it gives me a seamless kind of looping feel. But then, just for fun, we can go here like this, drop that all the way to black, go like this. And the tighter we make that, the tighter the kind of electric phase. Maybe.
Cool.
Maybe we'll say that looks like that right there.
Nice.
And then we'll say we put a glow on it. Like that. So
you could almost do like in the old westerns where they have like, you know, they'll show a map and then have you burn the edge of it.
yes,
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
yes. Hey, why don't we do that?
Cool.
All right. I'm gonna take that
Cigarette off.
There is
colorama off. Take the glow off. And I think I have an accessible map. Map art. So that's not map, that's noise. Did you go check the door? No, I have some earth stuff here. What do we like? Oh yeah, so maybe that guy. Pre-comp it. I'm going to set up some folders here. Some final and pre-comps. Except name it pre-comps. And then assets. Okay, so I'll get my final pre-comp there. Was it somebody?
Yeah, he just signed
Oh,
in right
cool.
now.
Great. Thank you.
Well, it's
And-
changed.
Yeah, so maybe all this needs to be is
You
like,
made it organically.
It's all generated.
Wow.
yeah,
It's all
very, very different. Let's do like that. Maybe let's do, and just darken that a little bit.
There you go.
And then we can put a mat on there. that, and generate a stroke. Hi, Jeremy. Good to see
Hey,
you.
what's up?
How you doing?
Yeah. Making stuff.
Good.
All right. So this is going to be our golf
That's some candy for you.
map.
Awesome.
All right. So I'll take golf map, put it in Turbulent Displace, and like this is eventually going to be turbulent mat. So I can do Shift Command C, or I can go Layer Pre-Compose like that. Call this Turbulent mat. It's a gradient mat like that. And so now this golf map, I can probably do a couple things with it, but typically what I'll do is go with gradient wipe and set my gradient to my gradient there like that. And I don't have to pre-compose necessarily in 2017, but I kind of have a habit of it now, just because of.
Oh, why do you say this? That they changed something?
They changed it where you can use this here, the source masks and masks and effects, or effects and masks, and actually draw from the comp that you're in to apply effects across different layers. So got that grab mat and center gradient, and what is going on? No, let's see, because I left all of that here. I should have, see, I'll show you here, if we go layer, pre-compose, I should have done move all attributes. I did not do
I
that.
hate when. Why does it sometimes give you a choice to leave attributes and sometimes?
It depends on what kind of layers you're using, because if you have a shape layer or text, or there are certain things. Yeah, there are certain things that you have to take all of whatever is applied with you, or you just have to leave it in because it can't work out how to move everything with it. I don't know specifically which does what.
I've never left everything.
You always take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if
I always
we,
end up just trial and error.
Oh yeah.
What do I need here?
Did you create that smoke or is that an asset?
that smoke is created,
Yeah.
and I'll run through it real quick again.
All right.
How
Or
you
you
do
can watch stuff.
it. So let's say if I'm going to do that text. So with the text, it is making me take all of the attributes. It won't let me leave any of the attributes.
I see.
Okay. I don't know exactly why here, but that is the case. All right.
Okay.
So, Jeremy,
Yes.
I have a gradient ramp here.
Okay.
I put on Turbulent Displace, and I, instead of complexity at 1, I put complexity at 10. And then I duplicate that Turbulent Displace. And that's how I get that smoky.
Cool.
All right. So now we go back to the Turbulent Displace, and you can see
Oh, I see.
Nice.
Kind of doing something.
that we're starting to get the fun times like that. So let's invert it.
Oh, dude. Cool.
Okay. And then we can also maybe duplicate it And let's do some keyframes first. So I'll do here at 0, 0 at 0. Then we'll move down to 5 seconds. Put it 100. And then we can duplicate like that. Maybe this is going to be burn edge. So with that, I'll do 2 of these. And invert 1 and invert the keyframes. So let's see if I can get it right first time. Yeah. Okay, just kind of see what it's doing there. And I'll do generate fill with black. And when I turn this back on, you'll see why. This one is going to be orange, and then maybe we'll do one more of these and call it yellow, like that. So I'll fill this one with something kind of orangey like that, and move it down. Okay. And yellow. Like that. And for the yellow, I can do like add maybe. And I glow. And for the orange, maybe I'll do another glow. Like that. Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or hot, as
Very
maybe.
So did you offset the two just a little bit like vertically like this, or so they
I offset them in
On the
time.
timeline.
on time? Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's what I was.
So they're offset in time, so that and even I can even do the orange a little bit more this way.
Oh, so you're like little inverse,
So one's quickly following the other. Basically.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
and then the last is the last one.
So the reason that it works like this, where it burns away, if you're going to do just a regular fractal noise, it won't. It'll look good and might be believable if you tweak it enough. But the reason this succeeds, in my opinion, is because of the fact that it is turbulent displacing the gradient. Okay, so it's not black patch here, white patch here, black patch here, white patch here, black patch here.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I see what you mean.
it starts here at center and then displaces all of it as it moves out. So it never comes back on itself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're controlling the values that with the gradient.
Right.
That looks really cool.
Cool. This is also, I think, yeah, Okay, so we could also use this. If I go in here, take this and move it over like this. I want to be able to get the gradient to start over in this area here and move out. So all it did is just move it on this guy. But if I apply it to, let's say, that goes there. I'll call this map burn. I'll do another one, and I'll call it text bleed. I'll just leave my map in there and do, I'm just going to copy that gradient like that. Go there, and I'll put some text in here. Maybe Pirates. It's all about baseball tonight.
Not Dodgers, not.
Halloween.
Yar har fiddle-de-dee.
See if we can find a scripty thing. I'm doing too much of this.
You have lobster in
I think I do have
What?
it? It's a font.
lobster. Yeah, we'll just use this.
Lobster?
Yeah, it has
It's
a,
a free
it's a
font.
baseball kind of script.
Oh, nice.
Really?
This is not it.
It's a love line.
Poor princess in baseball.
After Effects is your love line. Okay, so we'll just come over here and do another gradient wipe. And get our turbulent matte. Like that.
I'm sure you've seen it.
Oh, there. Oh.
It's used often.
Oh, really?
You know what though? I think it looks better black.
Hey,
So there's
as far as like style for
that.
Probably use
That.
more than I should.
If I do easy ease on my keyframes there,
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
you guys talking about lobster still?
Yeah, blackjack.
Blackjack font. Yeah.
Just gonna duplicate it. And what do I want to do here? I think I want to do a simple choker. And
What does that do to it?
so the simple choker pulls in, I'll show you here, the simple choker pulls in the edges like that and uses the, right now it's using the final output. that.
Okay. Awesome.
This almost has a look like if you were to write, you know, how you can write with like lemon juice. or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And kind of heat it up with like
Yeah,
a lighter or whatever.
you're right.
Okay. So now we're going to go over here and get a little peek at my email. And Jeremy was kind enough to share with me.
I just wanted to say I haven't composited it yet, sorry.
That's okay. What we'll do is bring it over here. If I can get it into After Effects.
That-
WMD.
Oh,
So that's what I really want to let you know,
I'll
Trent.
bring it in. That's
Sorry.
fine. Yeah, that's
I'll
good.
get to it when I can.
That's fine.
Sorry.
That's fine. So because it won't let me play it, I'm going to load up the terminal and use FF Play in the terminal to show you this fire that Jeremy was able to work out.
Oh,
I created that from scratch.
oh, great.
That's
man.
actually super impressive, dude.
Yeah.
That's very
wow.
Man, look how fast.
From scratch.
Cool. Well done, man.
Cool.
Holy cow. Yeah, right? It's like, shoot, man.
I can't believe that.
That's extremely
I can't
dynamic.
believe Trent got a WMV file to play.
Thank
got
you
s-
very much.
Yep, I got so many tricks.
I found a tutorial.
FF Play.
I found a tutorial and then I just improved on that.
That's good. Very good.
that's how you do it.
I would
How
love
much
to
time did you spend on that, man?
And as much time as the tutorial took, plus some.
Like
I would-
hours afterward
I wonder
or
whose
minutes
tutorial it
afterward?
Was it like a well-known?
I was gonna say I would not mind a link to that tutorial. That's incredible.
Did that use like some sort of, no, maybe not fractal, but
Just
You're-
fractal.
oh, it did use
Masks and
fractal.
shape layers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say it looked like something's.
So you're a member of the After Effects user group on Facebook, right?
Yep.
You can post the link out there.
Yeah, please do.
To
Yeah.
the tutorial.
Do you have a YouTube channel? Or?
Yeah, but mine doesn't have that tutorial, so.
Right. There you go.
Very
Thank you,
good.
Jeremy. We've been trying to play that for the group for a long time now.
I so appreciate it. I
Mhm.
really do. Thank you so much,
You
man.
got it, buddy. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. All right. So Turbulent Displace has done some fun things for us.
I'm going to try to composite that into some footage later on and use that as some more demonstrations of what it can do.
Great.
When you do that, let us know.
I will.
Okay. Okay. So now, let's see. What else do we have for the meeting? Text animators or expressions? You pick.
Thanks, animators.
Both.
Both. Well played.
Simultaneously.
At the
Yes.
same
I was
time.
excited when you said expression, but
Yeah,
Okay.
But what do you think?
that sounds good.
I think you showed us before. I don't know if you're interested in showing us again, but Jonathan had a question about how to reveal it's like a script of like a written word. And I told him you could create a Bezier curve and apply a text animator to that with like a dot or something.
Mhm.
And have that kind of reveal. So I don't know if you want to get into that again. That's something he was curious about.
I'm happy with whatever.
That's good.
Sure.
So
I'm good.
what I'm going to do is save that for January.
No problem.
Cool. Can
Sounds
you wait?
Yep, absolutely.
That's good. That's a very good topic because the problem is in After Effects you don't have typically the ability to have a taper on the stroke, and the text animator allows for this text animator tip allows for that. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so for this, what I'll do is we'll do beam with expressions like that. We'll get rid of all our pirates. We'll call this BG. I don't need my turbulent mat anymore. So the point here is going to be having the ability to put dots out here in the scene and then connect them with beams. Okay. So just to kind of start that off, I will create a dot, and I'm going to pre-comp it just to keep overhead down. So I'll come over here to my shape layers, double click, and that gives me an ellipse. That's the boundaries of my comp, but it puts it in the center. So I'll just come over here and do, let's do, sorry, 40 and 40, like that. There's our first little dot, and we can colorize it later, but just hit it with a little bit of color right now. And I'm going to pre-comp it like that. It's called .comp1. I think I'll just start off now numbering these, and I'll do 1 and 2. Okay, so I have 2 dots in my scene. They're going to be solid colors because this kind of breaks down. If it's not solid colors, we can look at maybe some other things you can do to it later if you need a little more depth or something. But right now, like I said earlier, I reuse my solids quite a bit, so I'll put that in there and call this beam 1, and we're going to set up some stuff to help us out later on. So I'll go over here to expression controls and put in 2 layer controls. Call this start point. Duplicate it and call it end point. Okay. Now we go here to my 2 dots. You can see them like this. I'll just take one and move it here. And sorry, I did a double click. This one, move it there. What? And let's see my bounding boxes. Ah, no wonder. Because my bounding boxes are so big, I only need this to be 40 by 40, right? That. All right, now that's much better.
Posted.
Post it. Very good. Thank you, Jeremy. All right. So I want a beam to go from here to here, right? And the beam effect, if I drop it in by going to generate beam, like that, the beam effect has a start point, like that, and an end point. And oh, look, I've already got some pink in there. I just need to make that pink the same. And I've got a starting point here, an ending point here, length. And length is how close it gets to each of the points in percentage, okay? So at 100%, it touches both points. At 50%, it is halfway between touching each point, and then I can do a time offset. So if I want to get, you know, some X-Wing fighters shooting at each other, it wouldn't do that, right? Because X-Wing fighters don't shoot each other. X-Wing fighters shoot at TIE fighters.
What non-canon crap is this?
X-Wing fighters shoot at TIE fighters.
In the expanded universe.
Yeah, okay, so then we'll just come over here and say time is 50 and length is 100. And that touches each of my starting point and end points, okay?
Cool.
I also have softness here. I want my beam to be 0% soft, so it's got a nice sharp edge on it. And I don't know exactly what the 3D perspective is going to do for me. I haven't seen a whole lot of change on that, but we'll leave it on and see if it does anything. And we can do composite on original. So if I have something that's a picture and I want the beam to connect some things on a picture or whatever, then I can do composite on original and it'll just leave the original image there that I'm putting the beam on. But I want to have it on transparent layer. So here we go. The important bit here is that I say to my beam, I want you to use this point as the starting point and this point as the ending point. But I have to set up some stuff first. So inside here, I'm going to do an expression and tell you what, we'll zoom in on it so you can see it. This is a good one to commit to memory and use it as often as you can until you just kind of feel when it's necessary to use it. I believe the first place I saw it was somewhere with Dan Ebert's. But what I want to do is set up a little variable here called L, and I'll say L equals, and then this is going to be my layer. I'll come back and I'll change this out in a minute, just so you know. But whatever the layer is, that's what that is, okay? And then I'm going to use that layer and do the function toComp, and I'll use the layers anchor point. That capital P is important there. So what this is doing is it is saying inside this composition, zoom back out, inside this composition, wherever that layer anchor point is, it will return the X and Y coordinates for that, okay?
In relation to the comp.
In relation to the boundaries of the comp. Now, if it's in 3D space even, it will look at it like you're looking through a window, and wherever you see that dot on the window, it'll give you an XY coordinate. Okay? So even if you're moving in Z space as well, it'll always give you the XY coordinate as if you're looking straight through like on a window, right? With one eye, because if you look with two eyes, then just parallax. It didn't work. So pirates, get your eye patch out and you can look through the window. All right. So for this one, this layer is going to be what I'm referencing through my start point. And I may throw an error here. No, it's not throwing the error because it's just using the beam as the layer. So that's going to be layer 1. You saw what it did. It snapped over here to layer 1 and is using the position, which is, it's kind of zeroing out position and anchor point together and saying that's where the point is. And then I'll tell this to be layer 2. And in order to make that happen, I can even copy that starting point, right click and do copy expression only for ending point, paste it, and open it up and say, I can either pick whip here, like this, to my end point, or I can just type in the text, and boom, like that. And I can take my end point, drag it around, my starting dot, drag it around. All right. So now we are set up to do some cool things. Okay, because I have a beam, it has start point and end point. I have these dots here. I've already started naming them with numbers. So now all I have to do is like go 3, maybe move it instead of stretch it, and 4, and double click, like that, okay? So let's see, I have 1, and I'll have another line there, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, 6. Is that enough right now? 1, 2, and you can see that After Effects is naming these for me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll just go to beam 2. We're already connecting 1 to 2. So this time I'll just connect 2 to 3, like that. Connect 1 to 3. And connect maybe, sorry, 5 to 4. And connect 4 to 3. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Did you do 3 to 4 already?
3 to 5. Oh, sorry. I'm connecting beams instead of dots. So there's that right there. So instead of connecting those dots there, you know, it kind of helps also to put those on top. So I can grab them and move them. That's 5, so I want 5 to be connected to 3 and 1. So 5 is connected there, and I want 5 connected to 1. And that is, let's see, 1 and 2 and 3. So I don't want 2 and 3 connected. Right there, I'll do 3 to 4. And see, we want to do 5 to 2, like that. And what's this guy? Here is 4 and 2. I'm going to connect 4 and 2. Let's make sure I have everybody. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. And one more. Be 4 and 2, like that. So now, just for fun, let's do a wiggle expression on here. Wiggle frequency and amplitude. So we'll do 0.5 and then 300, like that. And I'll just copy the expression. If I select position and copy, and then paste it on these other guys, it'll paste the expression, but it'll also paste the position values there. So I'll just do copy expression only, and then these guys will keep their positions or origins, and then it applies the wiggle on top of that.
Very nice.
All right. So that's kind of cool, right?
That is cool.
Let's do this in 3D space. So I'm going to remove, hit Option and click here on the stopwatch to remove the expressions. And I can, let's see, set those guys up in 3D space by clicking that 3D box. And then just put the first dot here. And that's 5, right? Yep. So I'm going to do all of these guys, but I'm going to put them on all the same plane. Let's see, where are they? Let's like like that. I'll just hold 4 to stay. Let's do custom view. We can kind of see where the dots all live. That. Okay, like that. So it kind of looks like a pyramid. And I'm going to put a camera in the scene and a null. I'm just using the hotkeys. The camera hotkey is Shift Option Command C. The null hotkey is Shift Option Command Y, or I can go up here and do New Null Object. And I'll set the null in 3D space and parent the camera to the null, like that. So then, if I rotate the null, see that these guys live out there in 3D space. So I ran a preview of that.
I may be jumping ahead, but
Mhm.
is there a quick way to like fill in the space between the beams?
Kind of. Requires a lot more, maybe not a lot more work, but at least some more work.
Okay. I mean, I didn't know.
Like, what does it involve?
What does it involve to fill in the spaces?
Yeah, what does that process involve?
Okay, here we go. So just so we're all clear, these guys are in
True 3D space.
true 3D space, actual 3D space, and the dots, which I can actually select them, and I'll do Option Command O, and I
knew
can
that.
I can orient them toward the camera like that. So now,
Now they're not turning into flat
right
things.
now, what you can notice is that the beams, if the beams are different colors from the dots, they go behind the dots there because the dots are in front. And it's not, the beams are not in 3D space. The beams are only 2D layers that are connecting points in a 2D plane. But if I just go here and say generate fill, I'll leave that like that for right now. I can copy this fill like that, paste it, and then use my expression and just pick whip here like that, and then copy that fill to everything else like that. So then when I come up here to this number 5, I change his appearance. Everything goes with.
Very nice.
Okay.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, right. So, before we do that, I will say that I can pre-comp this. Let me change my beam thickness. I'll do like Okay, so you can see the beam is changing thickness there, and I'll just copy the starting thickness, end thickness to all these other beams like that. Pre-comp this. I may come back out of it in a minute, but I'll pre-comp this. Call this 3D connection, and removing all of everything, and I'll do. Yeah, this isn't exactly going to work like I wanted to, but you can see what I was going for and why it won't work actually. So I would do bevel alpha. That. And depending on what kind of angles you're looking at it through and all that,
Magnificent.
Kind of interesting. All right, so we're gonna go all the way back to here, and I'm actually gonna do that. And you guys want to see the polygons filled? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, that's
okay.
what we're, sure.
All right, so what we do is we put another solid in here, and we'll call this face 1, like that. I'm going to fill it like that. And just do maybe orange, like that. And I'm going to use the corner pin, like so. All right, so with corner pin, I can take these guys, these corners, and do that kind of thing right there, right? Okay. And this isn't necessarily perfect, but I can also, yeah, I think maybe doing it that way was what I decided was going to work, because if I put this point, this fourth point up here, then I start to get some weirdness down on the bottom. You can see down here, get some weird stuff going on down there. So I think it was necessary to find the halfway point between two of these guys and let it make a straight edge. All right, so how do we set that up? We go back to our layer controls. We're going to do corner 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and the beams, sorry, the edges are going to be based on that expression I gave you a little while ago. So we'll come here, we'll go, no, let's do like, all right, so then we'll go here, L equals, and that's where my layer goes, and L2 comp, that's the function, and I'll just look at L's anchor point, like that, okay? So this is where we start. And it's looking for, throw an error because it's looking for that layer that I didn't put in there. So I go here, like that.
I just recently learned that you only need to put a semicolon on a variable. I always thought that you put it like at the end of each line, or I mean, I don't know. That's what I
It's at the end of a. It's. I think it's just. I think it's good practice to put it at the end of a line.
Okay.
I mean, proper JavaScript syntax is
I was
statement semicolon.
But it'll
It's a tutorial on expressions, and it just says I mean, you'll get an error if you don't put it at the end of a variable.
okay.
Other times you won't.
Yeah. So really, what you're doing is just you're putting a carriage return in, but
Yeah.
it's reading it all as one long line.
Okay.
That's all it's doing. And any
JavaScript.
and any time, and I mean, don't use me as the best practice because I may not be the best practice, but I use it. I do lots and lots of line breaks just so I can make sure I keep myself confident that when I go back to the expression, I can figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's why I put the semicolon at the end of all my lines. All right, so I'm going to copy this expression.
What's with what it's doing there? Why is there blue?
Why is there blue
In the background.
here?
I think he was asking why it kind of that fourth point you were talking about kind of moved into the middle of the polygon. I think that's what it's talking about.
Okay. So
It
you're
looked
talking
like
about
it looked like it wasn't even connected to one of those
The one.
points.
yeah,
Like,
because it has no points yet. So it's using here.
Okay.
That's a good question. Here it's using the face one, which is the layer it's on. It's using the center point of that, and it's putting all of those dots right there.
All
So
right.
all the dots went to that center point.
Okay.
Cool. That's a very good question. All right, so let's figure out what dots we have up here. There's 5 and 3 and 1. So 5, 3, and 1. Those are the ones I want to work with.
That's odd.
5.
It's just those. It's just the three of the front.
my
right?
God.
It was a really
You
bad
nerd.
joke. Sorry.
Oh my!
Nicely done. Nicely done.
That's quick.
I'm sorry, I didn't
I'm
hear
impressed.
it. What did you
We still
say?
have
I said,
9. You could.
I said that was odd because it was 5, 3,
Oh.
and 1.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Quick on his feet.
Derailed everything.
So now we have corner 1, corner 2, corner 3, and corner 4. And like we can even do that right there.
Whoa! That's trippy.
Oh, cool.
That's actually super.
How?
That's super rad.
That's kind of weird, but
Oh, because you got.
That's
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I put a fourth point in there.
So how do you restrict it to just one side of it?
Yes, that's what I'm getting at right now.
Okay.
I have to find the center point between two of these points. Okay. So corner, let's say, let's do that.
Talking about for the fourth corner.
And I need to go. This one right here is upper left. And so upper left is going to be halfway between upper right and lower left. Halfway between upper right and lower left. All right, so upper left is what I'm going to work with now. And I want to say point 1 equals upper right, like that. Point 2 equals, you guys remember what it was? Lower left,
Upper left, or sorry, the middle one.
like that.
Lower left.
Sorry, that has to have no spaces. Okay. And then I do,
Is there an average function?
yeah, I think I do point 1 plus point 2 divided by 2.
I thought of something.
Oh, but what it's doing is I need that to be on number 5. So this needs to be like that, and nope. There we go. All right.
Good.
Nice, dude.
Cool.
That's really awesome.
I had an idea.
Okay, what's your idea? I'm not going to promise I'll take your idea, but
All right. Just suggesting.
Okay.
If we get all these sides filled in,
yes.
we could make it yellow and put some bands across each side, so it looks like one of the pyramids.
Ah, we could do that. Okay, so if we want to do another one of these, we would just go duplicate the face like that, and then figure out which of these we need to use. So definitely 5, 4, and 3.
So you just reassign and everything's already.
Which one of them should already be set on 3.
So that's true. There, like
so
that.
You're just moving one point.
Nice.
Cool.
Cool.
And this one is going to be 2. So 3 and 2. Is that it? No. It's going to be 5, 4, 2. 5, 4, and 2. Like that. Then we go over here to these guys. It's going to be 5, 2, and 1. 5, 2, and 1. Like that. And we can even take our camera underneath, and it's going to definitely be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have to clear out that last expression here. I'll just do that. Like that.
There we go.
So are those faces like the beams in that they're not truly 3D? They're just
Correct.
projecting onto, or not projecting, but they're disconnected.
Correct.
Are those faces set to a lower opacity?
They are. I can even do like a screen or overlay. Of course, if you just spread out your points in geometric fashion, you can get more more accurate geometry.
Sure.
Like that.
Or, yeah.
And then if we take
Turn
these
off
points,
all the beams and the dots. And,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. There's some Cinema 4D person right now watching this going.
why would you do it in After Effects?
Yeah, let's see it without the beams and the dots.
Okay, no beams. And no dots.
Here we go.
Except for the little lines there. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
The seams.
Yeah, in order to make that work, I think it is necessary to do a simple choker.
Yeah, just push it out. Of course, now it doesn't have the nice definition.
Yeah.
I bet it will if we put some texture.
Yeah, I'll show you what happens if we do texture. I'll generate a checkerboard.
generated. Oh, that's trippy.
Marble focus.
Just has to go before the corner pin.
There we go.
Cool. That's insane.
Cool.
I like it.
So, can you go and build your own one of these? And I'll also say, keep in mind that I'll make myself available to answer your questions, should you have questions. But can you go build one of these yourself? The expression you need to know is boop, boop, L. Whoa, not that font.
Let's use that lobster font.
Let's go. L equals, and then you pick what
Oh, don't be shellfish.
the layer. Pick what the layer, like that,
There you go.
and then you go L to comp. I'll spread them out in a sec. L anchor point.
It's saying look at the layer and then look at the angle point and down. That's,
Yep.
That's why. Do it.
So it is, yes, look at the layer, and wherever the layer lives inside that composition or inside the After Effects world, use the where the anchor point lives on that layer as the center point for me, okay, as the value for me. A good representation of that is with the lens flare. So we'll go call this lens flare, and we can do a dot. Put that in precogs. Put that dot right there. Put a camera, and the dot is going to be 3D. I'll take the dot and move it close, like that. Set a position, and
Thank you for ramming us straight into it.
you're welcome. Like that. We can even do a little curve on here, so that if we look at this in perspective, like that, you can see the dot is moving in 3D space away from the camera, right? So then I'll take this black as well, put it on top here. Hotkey that I really like is Shift Command and right bracket, and that puts the layer that's selected all the way on top. Shift Command left bracket puts it all the way on bottom, like that. We return, call this flare or file array flare, and we'll go back here to active camera and put on generate lens flare because it's so pretty.
Michael
that.
JJ
All right.
Abrams.
Oh yeah, Justin asked you.
JJ.
Wrong direction.
Okay, so now I have a flare center, and I want to match it to this dot, right?
But it's 3D. How can you do it?
Let me show you.
All right.
I can set an expression here, L equals, and pick with that dot, and then L dot 2, capital C comp, L dot anchor point, like that. Now, wherever that dot goes, you can see there's the dot. We'll decrease the flare, and we will tell it to screen, like that. So we can see the dot. Wherever that dot goes, there it goes with it.
Nice.
Cool. Very nice.
Okay. So now, extrapolate that out to camera tracking. Okay. So you have maybe a light post in a shot, and you want to have a flare on the light post, or the sun's up in the sky, but you didn't get a really good flare, or the sun should be in the sky, but you want a flare, and the flare wasn't coming in your lens at that point in time. So you can track the shot, put your 3D null out in space wherever. You can attach it to your light post or something like that, and say L equals layer, which is your null that's tracked out in 3D space, L2 comp, L dot anchor point, and it follows. Now I don't have any footage right now because I wasn't planning for that, but if you guys want to see that next time, we could probably set something up, shoot some footage.
Cool.
Okay. Any questions about this before we go on?
Not really a question, but the beam effect.
Yep.
I haven't really used it very much, but
You're missing out, man.
well, on Video Copilot,
Yeah.
he offers a free plugin called Saber,
Mhm.
and it's got the start and end points.
Yeah.
It could be very cool for a use.
Absolutely.
Like that too.
Absolutely.
I've got that.
Good. Yeah, so there was a countdown I did many moons ago where I had a stalk, just a straight something, like a whatever grows next to a brook. I don't know. And it was kind of a reed, maybe a reed, and it was kind of waving in the wind a little bit. And I wanted the countdown numbers to be behind the reed. So I tracked the tip of the reed, and I figured out where the base was, and I used the beam effect to mask out the numbers so they could go behind the reed.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so keep the beam effect in mind.
Yeah.
You know, it may not be in every project, but the beam effect comes in probably more handy than you would expect.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Can we do my idea?
What's your idea?
Remember I said we make it yellow and make it look like one of the pyramids?
No, I showed you what it looked like with the textures on there. and
Okay.
I think that's as far as we're going to go.
All right.
Thank you, though.
But you got the expression, man.
Yeah.
Go to the house.
Yep.
There's your expression. All right. So now,
You could even put video footage as the sides of the pyramid.
yes, you could do that.
That's
So
so,
the
cool.
biggest,
That would be cool.
the big problem,
Egyptian projector.
yeah, the big problem for that is that it bunches up the corners.
Okay.
Right.
True. Yeah.
Right.
So it's not going to be a flat projection because some of the corners are stretched out one way or the other, and some of them are kind of coming together.
But you could create a cube or a box.
Yeah, you could create a box. Yeah.
Well, with with 2018, which I haven't figured out a practical use for attaching a null to a vertex,
Oh man, that's going to be so great.
but you could, I mean, you could do it that way. You'd have a buttload of nulls on there, but you could project stuff on it or.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to see if we can get through this quickly enough.
I can't wait to see some cool usage.
Yeah, me too. I think I could have used it on my project we just finished.
Now, what are y'all talking about?
In 2018, you can assign point values or position values to mask vertices.
Oh,
And
okay.
like-
You control each.
Yeah, like if you created a mask of or a shape layer of a square. Of course, that's 4 points, and I think you just right click, and I tested it even. Just,
They're pretty cool.
yeah, you right click.
Have you had any problems? If you've downloaded it, have you had any problems yet?
No.
Okay.
No. But I've only used that. I made an animated GIF and media.
I saw your candy corns.
Oh, the candy. Yeah, the candy.
Did you make those?
Uh-huh.
That looked really good, dude.
Thanks, man.
That looked really good. Do you want to do a tutorial on how to do that?
On how to make candy corns dance?
How to, yeah.
Yeah. I've been using Dweek for that.
Yeah,
And
good.
yeah. I can. If you ever want me to do a thing up here on how to use Dweek, I've gotten.
You're
I've learned
pretty fluent with it.
That'd be rad.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it either January or February.
Yeah. Put me down for
Whatever. All right.
I'll do it.
All right, so we're going to move this text around. We're going to do position. And the way I always start setting up my text effects or my text animators is to crank this all the way over to 100 on my offset. I'll even zoom in here. Do a ramp up. My ease low is going to go to 100%, and then this is my offset. Okay, so I can see where I'm moving my text from. My normal position is here, and then here is where my text will be moving from. Okay, so then I've got my keyframe set. I go there. And I'm using characters right now, so you can see that the characters all move like that. And they animate based on the offset. Okay, that's the easiest way to do it. Now, let's say that I want the text to go through that point and then come back down, like a right? Hopefully the sound effect conveys what I'm trying to convey. So it's going to go, and I'll have the text go up like that, and then duplicate this text animator here. Are you guys hot in here? Is everybody okay?
Oh, yeah, we're okay.
I'm a little warm, but
I need to go down a degree. Are you okay?
well, I don't want to freeze going out.
It's
I am wearing a sweater here.
It is a tad warmer. I can get a little cooler. Yeah.
All right. I just want to
Okay, Jonathan. Be nice about it, please. All right. So here we go. This text animator is only going to move from like -10 back down.
You think you could make that say the meaning of life is 42?
Not so. We'll have to have a conversation about that because the meaning of life is not 42.
I know. Hopefully you got that.
I did, and I'll tell you. There we go, like that. So we want to go. All right. So I'll do 50 here. Okay. So I'll like that. maybe that's a little much. Yeah. Okay, we're cool with that?
Cool.
So, of course, you see how I did that. I offset my points here. I use this here to get the points, to get the text to go up and then come back down. Okay. And so the point here is secondary, kind of secondary animation with your text animators. There's a way to do this, I believe, with some expressions inside your text animator. I'm not going to show you that because I'm not fully versed in it yet. It hasn't started making sense to me yet. But we can even do another one of these and go like 45 here.
There you go, down.
Like that.
Oh, nice. Ooh, slide down.
Yeah.
Wavy,
Okay.
wavy, wavy.
So we got the wavy text. Now, I want to show you that you can also do this kind of thing in Cinema 4D. Cinema 4D LITE. So we're going to save here. Nope, not there. Here and here. And call this October meeting. That just in case. And we can jump over here to Cinema 4D. And I have some characters and a plane effector. Like that. Okay. So I'm going to try and build this quickly for you. We'll start off with this text here. Say all the text. Like that. Put it there. And we will extrude. So I'll do an extrusion. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, you can even make it 1 centimeter thick. And when you bring it back into After Effects, it'll be your flat, basically your flat text. And then we're going to use a fracture object. So if you have C4D LITE, you register C4D LITE, and they will send you codes to unlock the, I think it's unlocking the plane effector and the random effector. Okay. So we'll do the fracture and put that in there. And the fracture object, this extrude here has a hierarchical checkbox that I did not know about. We'll check that hierarchical box, and when we do, that gives us the ability inside the fracture object to explode all of the pieces. Let's try it without hierarchical. So if we do that fracture object, we'll check our effectors, and if we add the plane effector, yeah. So you can see here that it's moving the whole thing, even though inside the fracture object we have explode here. So if we go here to, no, before I do that, I'll make sure I'm doing it correctly. We'll do linear, and we will take this linear, and go. Yep. So I did it right to begin with. Ha! You guys thought you had me, but you didn't. You punks. Okay, so plane effector and parameter. Let's see. It's linear, and I just need it to be wider, like that. Okay. Kind of making a little bit of sense. Enough Cinema 4D in your brains that it's making a little bit of sense.
I don't have a Cinema 4D.
Okay, maybe someday. Okay.
Maybe someday.
All right, so at this point, the point is that we want to have that kind of wavy text again.
I'm sorry, I have to say this. I have to get this out.
Oh.
The point is that the point is the point.
Yes, the point is the point. So we'll come in here to the spline, and I'll set up this right here. And you can see that because of the curve on the spline, everything eases in, eases out, and eases in a little bit. Okay. This is the point down here. And this is the point at which the text is back into its normal place. So I can change my spline here and have it bang into place like that. Pop, 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 pop. I can have it go nice and slow up into place with the spline. I can also do an extra little bit here and I'm going to hold Command, click a couple more points. So my points won't go any further than this this low clamp here, but my curve can. So I can take my curve
Dip it below.
and do that right there.
Yeah, I got some secondary.
If I need to come back a little bit, I can do that right there. So now, let's see if I can move those guys out like that. Okay, so this is I'm trying to figure out if it's a little more work to get to this usefulness of the spline curve, or if, like, hey, I think I don't want to put 100 text animators on my text, so I think I want to come out and do this thing. But that's
So with C4D, you can add more complexity with less.
hopefully fewer steps.
Okay.
But I'm not. I mean, it's all kind of relative because it took me a lot of steps to get to having the text in there and being able to move the text around.
Sure.
But I mean, you can do that in the graph editor in After Effects too, though, can't you? If you switch from
not with text animators.
not with text animators. Okay. But like if you had, not with text animators, but if you switch from the speed graph to the value graph or something like that, you can dip it below the I guess you'd have to convert it to shape layer or something really messy, but I don't know.
I'm not seeing it tracking right now with what that would be like
With the value in
with the value. Yeah.
So the point in After Effects, to get that second bump, you have to create another
Text animator.
Yeah.
So it what it does is it then combines the
Yeah.
two splines that, or the two eases together.
Yeah.
Instead of having
Kind of
one.
adds to and then cancels each other
Cinema
out.
4D is still just so.
Is it still an enigma to you?
Yeah, because it's not really timeline based and
It is timeline based.
Oh yeah, okay.
So if we go back here, I can set
I mean,
keyframe.
Where's the timeline?
It's not layer based.
yeah, okay, it's not layer based, but and
Everything
It just feels so different.
yeah, because everything is like, I don't know. Yeah, everything's like
I
gray
still
and,
don't understand.
and you
all
can't
this stuff.
like it's not composited. You know what I'm saying? Everything's not composited into. You know it's like you have to use your imagination a little bit to kind of go, okay, this is gonna look like this once I have my background in here and
you're seeing.
But
I
you
have
can't,
my-
and you can't see all of your keyframes easily at one time. It's you have to click
So,
on the property to see
That's where
what's
you
going
put
on.
keyframes down there.
So you have keyframes down here in your timeline.
But it's only showing the selected property, correct?
Right.
So that's where it gets a little confusing.
Okay, so
right?
then you can also go into your window layout, animation layout, and there's
Oh,
all
there we
my
Oh, yeah.
keyframes.
Oh, that's a little
See, I
bit.
didn't even know this.
That's a little more intuitive looking.
Okay, so then you also have F curves. If I can get to them. There's
So
my,
that hierarchy list where the objects are
there's my curve.
is just showing you how they're parented together.
Yeah, it's
That's why
it's the parenting and the relationships between objects and modifiers.
Mhm.
Okay, so you can have, let's say, you can take a disk here and put a modifier on it, like wind, maybe. And turn the disk, maybe. Turn the wind, I think. Yeah.
And so wind
Too much.
So wind is it's just a three-dimensional turbulent displace kind of.
It looks like it.
And what it's affecting is the geometry of that shape, that object.
It's they call it parametric when it's not a polygonal shape, because we can change
There's no depth
dynamically
or
change the segments and the rotational values to smooth it out a little bit.
Whoa.
So
So what makes it start once you move off center enough? It starts really freaking out. Is that just
it just has to do with how the wind properties react.
okay? Just curious.
Yeah.
Is there any way to make it steady?
Steady
As in
like that.
height wise, so it doesn't go like.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We can do some more research on this kind of stuff, because it might be interesting for you guys to learn a little bit more about what can be done in Cinema 4D, so you can add that kind of stuff to your projects, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not.
What are some other modifiers you can add to like a
Uh,
sphere or circle? That's not a sphere.
So you can bend and twist and do a formula and do an explode. That.
Well,
Whoa.
Oh, dude.
And then
You
this
really,
this is the time.
really broke it.
That's actually awesome.
Nice. It's kind of like the shatter effect.
I like
Yeah.
how it stops and collapses. The old
You done destroyed it.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's
that's
awesome.
Oh, that's.
You're making me want to open this program.
Good.
I'm like, I've never
That
touched
wasn't
it.
necessarily my intent, but I'm
I've heard
glad.
that's like a lot more effective.
Yeah, exactly. All the cool stuff.
That right there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
freaking
go back to
Yes,
my desk. I'm gonna render that and we'll print on a T-shirt.
Yes.
I like that
It's
very much.
perfect just in time for Halloween. It's like
That would
Yeah.
be epic.
Epic, totes epic.
Toots, my bro.
There's some variation. There's blast time and speed and directions and clustering variation, types of stuff. Then there's the gravity and rotation.
Could you add a texture to that
Yes,
or color?
like would I or could I?
Or could you do that right now?
Yes.
You know, I want to see how that's done.
I'm going to go back to startup because that's the one I like the best. So we can go material.
So those are all basically the
Like
materials that are built in to the program. Yeah.
those are built in,
Now,
but you can
How
actually
can
create
you-
your own as well.
yeah. What kind of file format is that? Can you just bring in a JPEG and stuff? Or
You can use JPEG. Yeah. You can do procedural textures, and you can do, JPEGs. You can do Photoshop files.
Okay.
You can do Photoshop files with layers, and then just bring in one file and assign different layers to different things. Cinema 4D, even Cinema 4D LITE, is still a very powerful piece of software.
So you use it here at work quite a bit now?
Cinema 4D or LITE, or
Yeah, you seem like you're really getting into it more.
I am getting into it more. It is more and more interesting every week to me. When I can, I try and find ways to use it. Sometimes it's hard for me, just because I think a lot in 2D, like in After Effects. I think After Effects, but I'm learning more about Cinema 4D and how to.
I just don't see a lot of tutorials on it, and then that. And I'm afraid to go to Grayscale Gorilla because everything he's going to say is going to be like, oh yeah, you have to have like the broadcast or some sort of studio edition of it. And it's like, I wanna do
Yeah,
that."
I'll say there aren't too many tutorials on C4D LITE. I think the guys at Prograph, if you remember, Matt Milstead came here a couple times ago and talked about C4D LITE, some things you can do. So if you need a tutorial for C4D LITE, we have, I believe it's up on the YouTube channel that you can go see. Matt did a really cool job exploding and animating a logo, like a Mavs logo, that he found on Best Brands. It's, even if you don't have all the features, there's still enough features for it to be really interesting. It's a matter of getting in and messing around with the features that are there, so that you can go, yes, now I see how I can use it. If you expect to just be able to open it up and go, well, I need it to do this, and you open it up and it doesn't exactly do that, and you shut it down and never open it up again. But you need to get in and mess around with it, see what features are there, You can, I believe it has most of the modeling tools. Even the new version, it comes with R19. The version of After Effects comes with 740 R19, which has a lot of really cool texturing features. And I haven't downloaded the new version yet, so I haven't gotten it into the.
Oh, for sure.
We just finished a project, so I haven't downloaded it yet.
Is that the Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did the text into that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hey Trent, I have a question.
Hey.
What was the name
Of
of that voice acting service that guy told us about?
voiceover.com?
Oh no, Voice Bunny or whatever.
Voice Buddy?
Voice Bunny.
Buddy or Bunny?
Bunny.
Voice Bunny.
That service you can call to request voice acting. What was the name of it again? Voice Bunny?
Now, if you want something, Voice Bunny.
Okay.
But if you want something on the cheap, man, you can go to Fiverr, and there's a lot of voice actors on there.
Fiverr.
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 For $5, you can,
Get a
you know.
How's it spelled?
FIVR?
But I think it's 2 R's though.
2R.
FIVERR or something. I'm just saying, if you're looking for a low budget, because I think Voice Bunny might be. I was on their website the other day because I have a friend of mine who wanted to do that, and it.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Awesome.
So yeah, $15
FIVERR.
these people will.
Awesome.
I would check if you're trying to make a film
I
and
am.
like get scripts read and things like that. I would, like edited and things
Oh,
like that. Just,
totally.
There you go.
for a couple $100, you might be able to get a lot of work done.
All right.
So what else does it do again?
You need to go research.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go check it out, man. It's good stuff. I got an app too.
So there's your expression to remember right there. And we'll do text reveal next time.
Cool.
With some interesting ways to reveal the text. And Morris is going to bring Do It
Yeah.
Either January or February.
Yeah.
And we thank you for joining us here on the live stream. Thank you to the studio audience.
All right.
And remember, join the Facebook group. Groups. Let's see if I can remember it. Facebook.com/groups/Dallas AEUG. Like that.
Remember we used to be on that Adobe Groups or something.
Yeah.
That really antiquated thing.
I'm thankful that Facebook has kind of closed that gap for us a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to be active on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
So join the group, and hope you enjoy it. Post your stuff. If it doesn't have to do with After Effects and motion graphics, I might take it down, just so you know.
Oh yeah.
Keep it to motion graphics, if you will. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you very much.
Cool.
All right.
Did you notice that? Did you see the animated GIF of the land speeder I put up the other day?
I think I did.
Because